Hello class, today I'm going to start chapter number 9, more on QBasic. So in this chapter we will learn about QBasic, when it originated and developed, use of operators, use of conditional statements and use of loop statements. Let's start. So basic. Beginner's All-Purpose Symbolic Instruction Code is a family of general-purpose high-level programming languages whose design philosophy emphasizes ease of use. The original version was designed by John G. Kemeny and Thomas E. Cruz and released at Dartmouth College in 1964. QBasic was intended as a replacement for GW Basic. GW means Graphic and Windows Basic. It was based on the earlier QuickBasic 4.5 compiler. So the father of QBasic is Thomas E. Microsoft QBasic is an integrated development environment and compiler for basic programming language that was developed by Microsoft. QuickBasic runs mainly on DOS, though there was also a short-lived version for the classic Mac OS. Here OS stands for operating system. So this QuickBasic is an integrated development environment. It has a lots of uses in application side programming. Even in major banking applications, QBasic is used to develop some of the modules and later on integrated to the main system. And one of the main advantage of QBasic is that it is easier to develop and also easily portable across applications. This one you can say interface, a window of a QBasic. Whenever we open it, somehow look like it. These are some full forms that are important. You all must have to know. Basic, beginners all-purpose symbolic instruction code. QBasic, quick beginners all-purpose symbolic instruction code. CLS, here mostly used for clear screen. IDE, integrated development environment. Next we have to learn about advantages of using QBasic. So the first one is QBasic is easy to learn and fun to practice. It is available almost in every computer from micro to mainframe. And it is suitable for mathematical and business applications. Next is program development cycle is quick, debugging is simple, and modification of a program is quite easy. So in short, we can say the modifications in the programming is easy and manageable, and its coding is quite easy and simple, and also it is easy to debug, and it is suitable for mathematical and banking applications. It is easy to learn and understand. It may be called a people's language because of its easiness. Next, here the QBasic constant and variable. Here are the two main things, that is constant and variables. So the constant, a value that does not change or remain fixed during the execution of the program, is called constant, as the name suggests, the constant. And these can be of two types. First one is numeric constant and second one is string constant. Numeric, the numbers were there, and in string it's a combination. A string constant is a group of characters enclosed within inverted commas. Next is variables. So a variable, it means a value that can change or can contain any value that is not fixed is called variable. There are two types of variable, you can say. The first one is numeric and second one is string. So the numeric variable stores numeric data, and a string variable stores a string constant. It is followed by a sign, you can say a dollar sign in your systems. It mostly starts with it, followed by it. Next, here are certain rules that must be followed while naming a variable. The first character of the variable should be an letter. The first point. Second is the variable name can contain letters, numeric digits, and underscore character. Next is a variable name may contain numeric digits like 1, 2, 3 but cannot start with a digit. It always start with a letter only. Okay, so variables must not have any space in between. Variable means names must can contain any special character like you can say percent sign, asterisk, hash, at the rate, anything. Next, here came the commands. So the commands are the directions that we give to Quick Basics to perform a certain task that we need to do. Let's recall the Quick Basic commands learned in the previous level. The first one, CLS, it clears the output screen. Let it assign the value to a variable. Input, it accepts value from users, and print means it prints a message using quotes. And end, it ends a program. Next, the topic came operators in QBasic. And first we have to know about the operators. These are the special symbols or words that perform a specific action on variable or constant to return specific results. These are the building blocks of the source code. So there are mostly the 4 types of operators. Let's learn about it. First one is arithmetic operators, second is relational or comparison operators, next is logical operators, and the fourth one is assignment. So these are the main that operators it used in QBasic. So these all are the symbols which refers to a specific operation in a program. Operators are used to perform arithmetic and logical operations. So the operators work between 2 or more than 2 values and give a result. Let's start with the first one, that is arithmetic operator. Here you can see the operator and the meaning: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, integer, and modules. The last one is exponent, to raise a power. So the operators which are used to perform different types of mathematical calculations such as addition, subtraction, you all have seen, the division, are known as arithmetic operators. Next is relational or comparison operators. So these operators are used to compare 2 values and called relational or a comparison operators. So the relational operators used in QBasic are as follows. Here are the relational operators: equal to, not equal to, greater than, greater, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. These all are the symbols. Next, here came the logical operators. This logical operators means which are used to combine 2 or more relational expressions are called logical operators. It gives 2 logical values, whether true or false. The logical operators used in QBasic are as follows. Here you can see and, or, not. And this operator gives true result when all the input are true, and truth table is given as it below. This one is the truth table. Next is OR. OR operator gives true when any one or all inputs are true. The OR truth table is given. Here you can see this one is the table of OR. Next here came the NOT. NOT operators on one operand and return true. If the logical operation returns false, the NOT truth table is given below. Here you can see. Next, the fourth and the last one is assignment operators. These assignment operators are used to assign or give a value to a variable. Its symbol is equal to operator. It takes the copy of a value on the right hand side and stores it on the left hand side. Here we had given x is equal to 7. It means it stores or assigns the value of 7 to the variable x. Next, we are going to know about some programming techniques, how to create a program and save a program in QBasic. For this, first what we have to do, we have to open a new program file while clicking on the file menu and then select the new option. Next, to save a program file, click on the file menu again. From there we have to select save option. The save as dialog box will appear. Then we have to save the file as a desired name and then click on OK. Next is to run. To run a program, we have to click on the run menu and select the start option. The program will run and the output will appear on the screen. And do you know one thing, that the file in QBasic is saved with an extension .das. So let's do some programming. Here you can see some windows. It's already given in your book how step by step the things will happen. So the first one here given to input your name. So first thing they had written the input. Somehow it is blur, but I will speak so you all will able to understand. The first one is input, means enter your name and the sign of the string. Next is print the name is. You can see here the blank. So then we have to click on end. Means our program is about to end. So whenever we will compile it or we just debug, after clicking on run on the screen, we will get the name is whatever we want to write, we can. On the output window it will be given. Next is write a program to find the area of a rectangle. The second one is for the area. First is CLS, as you know it stands for clear screen. Then the input, enter the length L, then enter the breadth B. Let A is equal to L into B. So print the area of a rectangle A into B. And then we will got the result on this output window. The output window is of black color and input window is visible in the blue color, as you see. Next is here, the next program is for write a program to enter the marks of 5 subjects and get its total and also find the average. So in this what we have to do, first we have to enter the marks. All the 5 subjects marks are here, then total, and after that average. So here you can see, and one thing we have to note, that if the program has any error, then the output will not display. The computer will give an error message. To get the desired output, we have to correct the error first, and then again we have to run the program. So when we will do this thing, our program will be run. So I think we have studied the basic terms and commands in QBasic. Let's go to the next level to learn some more programming concepts. Just move to the next page. Let us see. So here the first one came, conditional statements or branching in QBasic. You can see here the flow chart over here. First one is the statement, then the condition applied. For example, here I am going to tell you one thing. For example, in the first statement I have taken purchase. Okay, next here with the condition, hairpin. Here the statement one for hairs, and the statement 2 for cloths. So whether the condition is true, so it will replace the true one, otherwise it will put the false. So next we have to see a programming technique which allows us to execute one of the two or more possible execution path on the basis of the condition is called branching. So the conditional statement, you can say the branching in QBasic. Branching is always conditional and it gives us the number of paths for execution based on the result of a condition. So the condition given branching is a relational expression that can be either true or false. Next here given the example, the first one, this example you can say, first read the input number. It is mentioned here in the first one. This one is processing box statement taking. Next is here you can say, is the number divisible by 2? In the second box we can see next true here and false this side. Means print even or odd. Whatever the number is given, that is if it is going to be divisible by 2, so it will be even, and if it is not going to be divisible by 2, that means it is odd. So according to this, whatever is true or false, it will take it, the value assigned by whatever we want. So one thing more quick basic, this QBasic also allows us to include conditions in the program code, the various statements. So they can be if then, or if then else, if then else if, and select case, and many more. So let's start with the new one, that is the if then statement. Here the first one is if then statement. So here the syntax of this, if condition then, and then the statement then end with if. So here condition means an expression which will evaluate to either 1 that is true, 0 that is false, that is same for all. So a statement is executed only if the condition is true. Now let's understand it with an example. Let us see. Maybe because at the starting whatever the condition expression we have given, it will evaluate, then only it will give the output. So here to check the first one is given the example, this one, to check whether a number entered is greater than or equal to 10 and display a message if condition evaluates to true. So the coding is given here. You can see the coding is here. First one, CLS, that we have to almost already all the time use, we have using for this clear screen. Next is input, enter a number, and you can see after that num, that is mentioned by it. Then if number is, because we have to search greater than or equal to, so we had assigned the sign here greater than or equal to 10, then what we have to print the number is greater than 10. Okay. Next we have to see another example, another statement. It is the if then else statement. In this the statement executes a statement or a block of a statement if the condition is evaluated as true. If yes, then the control of execution is transferred to one group of statement. Otherwise, the condition is evaluated as false and the control is transferred to an alternative group of statement. Here also we can see one example. In this we are going to check whether the number enters is negative or positive, then and display a message whichever condition evaluates to true. So statement you can see the block 1 is executed only if the condition is true, otherwise the statement block 2 is executed, leaving the above first statements unexecuted. It will not going to be executed. So here the coding is given. In this we can see the first one, the CLS, as usual, the clear screen. Next is input. It means in this input we have to enter the number, whatever the number we want. Then if we have taken n is greater than 0, then the number is positive, else print the number is negative, and if and. Next here we have to know about the another if then else if. It is also same as if then statement, but only difference is that by using if then statement we can test only one condition, and here we can test number of statement. So but what if we have more than one condition? At the time we have to use if then else if statement. It is also called multi-way decision. So here we can see the syntax, there are more than one condition, and that is why if then else if statement is used. So there are at the last here it is given a program code for calculating. You can see for the calculation it is given of the discount and total fare under the given condition. So for children under age it is 12, it is free, and next for individual from age 12 to 23 they will pay at student rate, which is 70% of the full rate. Next here the condition, the full fare means adults age 24 to 64 will pay the full fare, and senior age 65 and the older will pay 75% of the full fare. So this one is a program, means it is having more than one condition, means total 4 conditions are there and all are dependent upon the age. Let's see its program. Whatever the coding is given in this coding, first is what we have to print, enter full fare, means whatever the full fare that we have to enter, then input what the fare amount, then print enter age, whatever the age it will be. Whenever we will print, we enter the age, it will take the condition according to that. If age is under 12 means less than 12, then the rate will be 0, means it is free of cost. Else if the age is 24, here you can see if the age is 24, we have already learned about the conditions. It means the 70% off. Then else if the age is 65, then the rate will be 1. Else if let the rate 0.75, means 75%. And if, then print your fare is and fare the rate, and the program is going to be end. So then after putting the condition, whatever is going to rectify, that will be printed. Next here came the loops in QBasic. We need to do many things repeatedly. If we have to print a number, means a name, 100 times, it will be tedious job to write 100 print statements. Such jobs can be done by writing a statement once and repeating it 100 times or more required number of times, whatever it is. So loops or iterations in any programming language is the construct that makes the computer repeat the instructions again and again as long as some given condition is met. So when a program has a loop in it, we can execute the same set of statements repeatedly. So here one example is given, means consider a problem where you need to get the same information for 20 students in a class. Instead of inserting the same code 20 times in a program, we can write a loop statement just once and it will be executed 20 times. Next here came the counter. What is counter? It is a variable that keeps the check on the number of times a particular set of instructions has been executed during a loop. So here the first the syntax is given CT, means the counter time. CT stands for here the counter time, means the increment value, where CT is the counter variable. Next is accumulator, and accumulator is a variable that stores the sum of product of a series of numbers during the execution of a loop. So its syntax you can see here, the sum means sum plus n, where the n is the number that is entered during the repetition, means the number of times how much we want to repeat the loop. Next, loop. The for next loop is the fundamental looping statement in QBasic. It provides a way to repeat a block of statements over a predetermined number of times. It is used when we are required to perform repetitive tasks, such as to display addition of all the values between 100 to 200, or display all prime numbers between 1 to 100, etc. Depends upon us. So for the counter variable, here the syntax is given for the next loop statement. First, that is to start value to end value and step value. So the set of statement of loop, whatever we want to. The next and counter variable, where the counter variable is a variable which controls the execution of the for next loop. Start value is the initial value of the counter variable, and the end value is a final value of the counter variable, and step value is the amount by which the counter, means the variable value, is modified each time through the loop. So here one example is given, that write a program to display a string 5 times. Okay, so here it is the coding CLS, then for a is equal to 1 to 5, because we have to display it for the 5 times. Then print my name is loop, whatever it is. Then next a, and the program is about to end. So here in this you can see, after starting, then the statement means we have to print it for the 5 times. So for a is equal to 1 to 5, and if the value is true, then print my name is a loop, then next a, and that then it is going to stop. It is in a flow charting that is easy to understand, that is why it is mentioned here in it. So we can see next here another example is given, and in it what we have to do, we just have to write a program code to print odd numbers using for loop. So for this we have to x is equal to 1 to 20, means step 20, because we have to print odd number. So after every 2 number we are going to get a odd number. Then print x, next x, and the end. And here the program output window is given with the set of odd numbers. Hope you all have understood the chapter. Thank you.